And welcome back, possibly for the last time this evening, ladies and gentlemen, to the ESL Pro League North American Relegation Tournament. We currently have the Foundation and Enigma6 taking each other on to start off in the initial stage of this relegation event. We saw, I believe it was Rush taking on, Rush. Oh my goodness, I'm blanking. Rush taking on Ghost Gaming, sorry, earlier. And Rush did come out on top of that one at the very end of it, 2-1. So they will hold the advantage there, and they got to push forward into the upper bracket final, while Ghost went down to the lower bracket at the moment. We do have Enigma6 taking on the Foundation. Enigma6 took a very convincing first map. So now we will go on to the second map to see if the Foundation has any better luck to try and take this over to a third one. Bach is still with me. He's very slowly fading into the abyss over there due to jet lag, but I think he's still with us.
I'm still here. Somehow I'm still here. I don't know how. I also, I came back yesterday from England, and then I worked an entire day, and then basically had about an hour of buffer between that and this. So yeah, bad idea, Jeans.
It's all good. We appreciate you sticking with us, of course. And as you can see, guys, the players are going to be going live in just a moment here. If anyone is curious, by the way, about why people are just killing themselves on knife rounds, as we've seen that more than once this evening, it is because I think for the first two maps, the sides are predetermined. But for the third map, if it does come down to it, that's decided via knife round. So you can't have you can't have the first two maps not do a knife round, but the third map do a knife round. So it's a little awkward, and we do have to kind of manually force the victories in the knife round because of that. But yeah, just in case anyone was wondering.
I just thought they just didn't care enough. They were just like, we'll take whatever side you want. We'll just kill in console. It's cool.
Apparently there's an Australian team that does that.
Oh, what team is that?
I don't think they're like an active team now. I just remember seeing like a clip or whatever from it was like a year ago. So it was a while back actually. I just saw it. There was a team that apparently just like throws knife rounds on purpose because they're so confident. Forget which team that was though.
I remember a time before knife rounds. I remember when it was just home team away, and whoever was home team just got their pick. I think it was like home team basically always started CT side or something like that. But anyway, Pistol Round is live here, and it's going to be Enigma6 starting on the CT side. Whitmer, he's picking up the kit and the double flash. And then for the other side, the equipment bearer will be ZQK, going with a flashbang smoke. Very slow play. You'd almost think everyone disconnected right now for the Foundation. If you look at CJ, D, and Caboose, they are all just sitting and waiting, knowing that that's probably about to happen. Shinobi just can't help himself, has to look out and see what's going on. Peeks his head down mid and dies. Rath's going to pick off a kill in the meantime, though, and they also lost MCE over on the other end of the map. Whitmer's still in the back of sight. Come on, Whitmer. Don't come up empty-handed here. Eventually gets the kill on CJ the King as he was leaping around in the site. Caboose is the last man standing, though. He does have the bomb, and good damage dealt as well. But in the end, he will fall, and it will be Wrath who picks up the 3K.
And so E6 off to their strong start again, although this time, of course, it was a little bit dodgier, only surviving with 2 players at the end of the round. Now we'll have to see how their initial anti-eco goes. Was not a plant, so I'd imagine the Foundation does force into this one, and indeed they shall. Their investments rolling in now, and it's pretty typical, just Tech 9 investments, although they are able to get Caboose, this big old buy. I don't think he bought anything at all in the pistol, so off of that, he was able to get himself the UMP and all the fixins that go with it here in the second round, so it'll be a little bit of a surprise, I imagine.
So they're stacking up right now over towards B with that ump sort of at the front of the pack. Caboose being the alpha male for the round as he's actually staring down a chicken in the corner. He's made a friend with his UMP. The rest of the team just sliding around waiting for their moment to act. As again, we see Shinobi doing the same thing he did last round. Early on, he plays back and then he slowly starts pushing up towards mid, looking for information. This time, though, he's not going to lose his life. Most of the bodies for the Foundation have grouped up in B, and now they're all there. Caboose is the lead man still, but they haven't made their way out of the castle area just yet. Finally, Vice sees them, and that's going to prompt a molly from the other side and an incendiary of his own. So good clock control right now for the CT side of Enigma6. The flashbang is on the mark as well, so it's keeping them back further and further. Wrath finally gets a kill as the action begins. He's dropped down to 1 HP. Vice is here. He's very close. He just charges on up. He's going to run right in with the ump, but it's actually Whitmer who gets the lion's share of the kills. He's even going to whip out the USP, and it comes down to just Caboose, who dodges that nade narrowly. But the damage from Vice proves to be enough as Whitmer finishes off what he started and gets the 4K here.
Yeah, E6 swinging up, and again, at the end of the day, it's a relatively clean round for them, only losing one player at the end of it. So the Foundation going to have to go into their full save round now. Besides a few P250s, you really won't see much coming into the buy for these Ts. And indeed, that's going to remain the case. Just three of them, in fact, go up, and it should be a quick closeout to get Enigma6 up to their third round before we get into the gun round. And right now, still working with quite a few UMPs as well, so if they lose a few players, it might not necessarily be a bad thing, as that could lead to a few of those upgrades heading into the fourth round. But at the moment, Enigma6 is holding back. Nice and patiently, very passive style being employed by them. They do promptly, after hearing the push coming out from the Foundation over towards long, they molly off along, preventing D and anyone else access to it. But that's only going to be for a very short amount of time, as they are getting ready to go for a quick pinch and an attempt to take control of A. But Enigma6, I think they very well know that this is a possibility. Third player's already moved into the site. They've got a second one to drop that can also be there within a few seconds too.
Shinobi behind the APC, spots them on long, takes down the first one, and there's a molly to follow as well, actually an incendiary. There you go. The kills just start piling up here. A2Z gets a 3-piece on the round. It's the third round for Enigma6 and a bonus round likely to follow, where they just hold on to these umps and trying to carry them one more time to find success. Given a lot of the close line of sight in this map, where you can get a lot of CQC going, it's very possible that Enigma6 finds success here with the umps, have another round of pistols afterwards, and then the money just gets ridiculous for them. But it'll all come down to this. AKs across the board here. Shinobi and I'm starting to see who that was. It was A2Z. They were trying to get past one another there as they were getting set up for that defense on A. And now they're both going to stack up towards long. The bomb is actually back towards that A site, playing on the fountain. 3 players for Foundation over towards B, 3 for Enigma6 as well.
And the Foundation is spreading their players out a lot more here on the first gun round. Keeping a few just on the kind of leap up towards the broken wall plat and a few more outside of A long. They do have the bomb with them at the long push. However, that could very well change in a moment's notice here, as Foundation basically is playing into a default. Problem is they got pushed. It went 1 for 1 though. Caboose got a nice kill as he was boosted up on top. It doesn't seem like the CTs expected that Vice, so immediately responded to it, and it just brings us down 4v4. Foundation still yet to really make a decision about where they're going to take this, but ZQK sneaks the kill against Shinobi back over there by secret steps, leaving A2Z to try and trade this back. He's already got him relatively low. Oh, lines of the headshot too, but ZQK, it's a nice angle, still comes out on top this time, as now it gives the Foundation a little bit of a spur to push them into the A bomb site.
Wrath sees CJ up on top. He wants to take this fight, but at this point, he's starting to realize that this gun's way more valuable. So he's going to group up with his teammate Vice, and they're going to go towards that spot they spotted CJ at. Top boost, and CJ is just going to hold with his AK. Vice doesn't even see it coming. It's a clothesline shot from the AK. Wrath's going to get the kill, and at this point, I think that Wrath's probably just going to find that AK and either get an exit kill or 2 or just hang tight and save. He's trying to make up his mind, and now he's made up his mind. It's going to be exit kills towards T-spawn if he can get them. On the hunt already is 1. As you can see, MCE, or not MCE, D has already made it towards Dragonlore, and he's creeping his way towards B, or towards T-spawn as well. But, I mean, he's so far away from Wrath. There's just too much distance for them to close to even try to get to him. So Wrath's going to hang back by the porta potties, and he'll hold on to this AK to live another day.
Foundation close it out, but Wrath survives, so 3-1. Much quicker will we see these Ts get onto the board this time, and obviously Enigma6 will still have the cash flow to be able to buy through it. Their second and third rounds went off without a hitch. They only lost 1 player there, so they easily had enough cash for the reinvestment. After this one, though, they are going to find themselves relatively broken, but should actually, I imagine at the very least, be able to half buy before they will be able to half, I think, one more time as they're saving to go on to the next round after that one. So for the Foundation here, once again, just spreading out, playing into another default, although a little bit more direct forward. They use that aggressive T-smoke to get Caboose out, so he's holding just behind the box on top of the steps right now. And it's not just him either. Him and D pushed out to here. So they may find themselves the opportunity to push in for early control. They're not going to find anyone from E6 around this platform, however, as they've taken on a much more passive stance within this site.
Wrath was playing an interesting position in the drop room, taking a fight with CJ, where initially he was E-boxed, and then when CJ went back to reload, he actually kind of crouched his way over towards the pillar, but CJ jump peeked, and it kind of blew up Wrath's spot, so these two have been having an interesting dance in this area. The bomb is still way back in T-spawn, though, so As of yet, no clear-cut direction decided upon by Foundation. A2Z trying to use that molly, but Wrath finally goes down in the drop room. There's MCE getting a kill onto A2Z over on long as well. Whitmer gets one with his ult before being silenced by D. And again, it looks like it's going to be around for Foundation. So a much stronger start than we saw on the previous map. Shinobi's at the other side of the drop room. So as CJ comes out of window, he's there with his rifle and he switches out to get himself an AK. D, he's got to be careful here with this op. He doesn't want to give this gun back to Shinobi because it means the op going into Whitmer's hands. But he times it right, catches Shinobi out in no man's land, and it's a second round for Foundation. And like you said, the money for the CT side isn't fantastic, so a save round incoming.
Yeah, like I said, though, they're floating around like 3K, so they can actually, for quite a few players, half buy into it, and that's exactly what they're going to do. Shinobi even gets himself an ump, so it's not necessarily the end of the world. There's still a possibility for them to, at the very least, keep decent damage on the Foundation, keep the pressure rolling, and more importantly, keep that money low. So when and if Enigma6 do get back into this game now with a round of their own, they're not going to be too far away from breaking the Foundation afterwards. And the boost up, Wrath, great positioning. The follow-up isn't exactly perfect. He does about half the HP off of CJ, but is not able to get the full kill.
D back here with that op that he took in from the last round. Misses that first shot onto Whitmer. Actually, he might have grazed Whitmer through the wall. Whitmer's sitting on 67 HP. So Whitmer's going to hang back with the deagle and picks off Caboose. So it's a good start to the round as it is basically just pistols. Shinobi's got the UMP in hand. He's got a nade ready as well. Again, it's the same thing we've seen from Foundation in the last few rounds. Basically just waiting back a bit to see if Enigma6 is going to get aggressive. And the truth is, they probably are. With the way that we've seen them playing this map thus far, they just aren't content to hang back and play passive. Even A2Z, who had a P250 at a really close angle on long, got too antsy and jiggle peeked his way out to see MCE and makes his way all the way back into that A-bomb site, now playing back by the wood wall instead. Still, though, the bomb is over towards B for Foundation. As they watch the clock tick down further and further, they've got to be careful that they don't fall into a trap here, but it does look like they'll probably go back towards A, which is a really safe call. It's just A2Z here with this P250.
And now they're trying to move their way back in. A2Z with close contact, though. He immediately locks into a headshot against MCE to eliminate him. And he's got a whole lot more pushing his way, though. Down to 8 HP. Oh, his teammate just saved his life. Shinobi with that double kill, at least for a little bit here. D, though, strikes back with that double. But now he's got to go for the ace, and he's only got 7 seconds to do it. He knows that's not going to happen, so I'm going to fall back happy with that double kill. And they'll let Enigma6 upset in this round, bringing them to 4. They will preserve their lead for now.
I mean, this is what we were just talking about, right? Is they spend so much time burning clock that when it comes down to it, they finally commit to an A push. But all it takes is that one kill from A2Z to throw things off kilter. Then they're coming up mid, and instead of being able to focus on connector and balcony, they're looking back towards long. So they have connector completely open to their back. It just doesn't work out well for Foundation. So even though they were able to get a few rounds there, not exactly the way they wanted things to continue forward for themselves, especially considering that was an eco coming in from Enigma6. It's a great way for the CT side to help solidify things as they walked away with a few guns there. But it will be the op still in the hands of D. No op for the CT side here, just rifles across the board. But a great bit of utility to try to delay things even longer than we saw Foundation delayed in the previous round, considering they had no utility.
Foundation are still looking to try and edge their way into the B bomb site. However, still 1 minute and 10 seconds left. They're really not going to be forced into doing anything anytime soon, but they at the very least need to start looking towards taking a little bit of control here with the time getting as low as it is. So with it starting to grow under the 1 minute mark, you can see ZQK looking to move himself over through those B halls, and in a second I think MCE might group up with him too. Just one last check over towards long, but no, still no funneling over at all. So where and when are they going to execute is still very much a question up in the air. But finally, yeah, we see those two players starting to fall back, regroup in the B halls, and get ready to, I imagine, push out onto B. But we'll see, as they're definitely not going to leave themselves with a whole lot of time to do that. D swinging himself in. He just finds a small hole in that smoke, but there's not really going to be anything he can punish. I think the 6 have definitely read into this one. They've got 4 players ready to defend this. Caboose, though, opens it up with a nice double. And they try to go for a third. Whitmer, Shinobi hold. Now it's just Whitmer on the site. He's caught leaping, but still somehow manages to find himself one more. It's going to be up to A2Z to clutch a 1v2.
I mean, if Whitmer didn't get caught jumping there, all of a sudden this round's a lot different, but he needed his teammates to do something more than what they did. Still, though, A2Z coming in from the broken wall. That's a kill on the MCE. Just barely squeezes the bullet, and now he spotted CJ as well. Great flashbang to keep CJ out a little bit further than he would have liked to be. A2Z's fallen off the broken wall. CJ's jiggle peeking now, and it all comes down to the aim fight, and that's what CJ the King does best. So the 1 versus 1 goes the way of Foundation. An expensive round for them, though. And here comes a pause, and I'm not sure if this is tactical, but I would assume technical just because of how early on it is.
Yeah, it should be technical. So we'll hopefully get that fixed pretty quickly and then get back into the match. But that should actually completely break Enigma6 now. Whitmer's sitting at 6.6k and Vice is at 4.1, so they may buy in a little bit heavier. But for A2Z, Wrath, and Shinobi, they really don't have cash to buy anything more than a P250, so they should be relatively broken going onto this round. Whitmer may just buy everyone like 5.7s or something like that, but that would be, you know, the best in terms of a full team buy.
So whenever they come out of this one, it should be around for Foundation. That was a dangerous word all throughout the premier season, the Mountain Dew League season, was should. When we would always say, oh, this should be around for somebody, because it would always end up backfiring. You know, rounds that didn't really make sense as to why they would worked pretty consistently. And if we're being brutally honest, Enigma6 was a premier team, but the Foundation basically is a premier team. Even though they played through Pro League this season, a lot of the players, you know, had limited experience above a premier level, and the roster was, like we said, it's just kind of thrown together. It's like a potpourri of players. They were just kind of sprinkled about in an effort to complete the season with the full set of 5. And then you have ZQK, who rounds things out, playing from Brazil. So, I mean, putting these two teams on an even keel, these are rounds that were often very surprising throughout the season. And they do at least get a little bit more in there as well, with Whitmer holding the op and Vice having an M4. And we saw just what Vice can do, being the lone rifle in play on Mirage. He almost aced the one round, still almost won the round. It came down to 0.05 seconds left when MCE got the defuse.
Well, we are on pause now and back into it. Taking a look at how exactly E6 are going to try to play this back out now. Spreading their players out a bit more, so they do fully commit themselves a second guy over towards A. And in this case, it's going to be Shinobi. Whitmer also hitting that first shot, too, aggressively up on top of the steps. Denies early control of the platform approach to CJ. And MCE is going to try to move in to take this, but the bait works perfectly. Wrath jumping up and broken, keeps him out in the open. And Whitmer, when he finally makes the push, destroys MCE. So just like that, we have an early 5v3 advantage. And what's even better is A2Z has a potential early flank lined up against these guys. Timing's going to be very important, but walks himself right into the bomb, and now he's upgraded to an op, but he's under pressure again. Still hits the shot, though. Nicely played by A2Z. Gets that double, and E6 go up to 5, once again preserving their lead.
Like we said, should is a dangerous word. So, I mean, all it really took was that one gun, Whitmer's op, and then a well-played round from A2Z as well with the flank on long. So it's a round that should have been Foundation's, but it's not. So Foundation goes into this one with a double ump, double Tech 9, P250 buy. It's probably just going to be a pain train towards B. They're already moving their way in that direction. The smokes, everything's out already. A molly down by Wrath. Wise play there to prevent someone from dropping into that area. Wrath starts spamming a little bit prematurely through the smoke just as someone crosses. Kills piling up across the board. Shinobi there with the op actually misses, and D just flies in from the back end. And just like that, it comes down to 1 on the other side. And unfortunately, D and A2Z trade kills. The nade doesn't explode in time, as D was able to get out far enough with that op to spot the leg. So an immediate response from Foundation. Welcome to Kabul. That fast B play works out nice.
Yeah, and now, I mean, E6 in another kind of rough spot here, but they're still going to buy into it as best they can. 3 umps and 2 ZZs, whereas the Foundation, honestly, not looking that much better. When we take a look at their buy, they have 2 umps. At least they have an AK, but their utility is very scattered. Same for E6, so this is just going to be a bit of a messy round, no matter which way you put it. Foundation's trying to speed it up a little bit, though. They've already gone in, taking that free mid control, and D sitting back over in the halls, just waiting to make sure no one from E6 tries to push in to open up that early flank.
So the Foundation groups up in mid, and they're going to be going right towards the 2 players long. Up the danger stairs they go. A2Z does decent damage with the CZ, getting 1 kill, but his teammate on long doesn't do much else. He drops MCE just a little bit lower, down at 22. Wrath is going to try and get in position in time, but he actually gets hung up on the textures there, hitting a bucket, I think it was. So somehow, Whitmer's going to chime in with a kill with them. CZ75. Good shooting. Barely gets the bullet over the wall. And that's caused the bomb to think twice about this one. It actually goes down to the bottom of mid. MCE's hiding in a corner. They're waiting for the flank to come in from the man behind them. That's D, who opens fire on Whitmer and gives away his position, but it doesn't matter in the end. Still gets the kill. Wrath is back behind the APC, still holding down the fort. Or the castle, I guess you could say. He's now stuck between two players, though. He needs help from Vice, and Vice can't get there in time. So it is going to be a 1 versus 2. Vice just holding the line for the door. Does damage to MCE. Almost drops him. Actually almost drops CJ the King as well. So it's 18 HP and 15 here for the 2 remaining members of the Foundation, and they've got to get that bomb down on the site. Vice is doing everything he can, leaping around, but finds an M4 with an empty mag. He's going to have to go for the reload here. Molly into the site, might be able to take down CJ, but before he can, MCE jumps up with the UMP. And that'll be the 5th round here for Foundation, tying things up yet again, and it will be another eco for E6.
It was a great setup there to make sure they didn't get upset by, I think it was Wrath at the very end of it. So very well played by them. They avoid themselves a bit of an upset to let E6 once again avoid the tie. And we are finally in that tie scenario with E6 on a full save too. So you should expect for the Foundation to take a little bit of a lead off here and send it up 6-5. They are going to try to make it a little bit more interesting about the way they play this one, though. E6 is going for a 4-man stack over on B, which could lead to some results considering how close they're playing a broken ball. But not everybody's going to be able to have a really safe position here, and so far it hasn't led to all that much, too. Now 3 kills in the favor of the Foundation. Finally, Wrath gets one for himself, and the second. Out of ammo now, but CJ's pushing way too slow. They could just line itself up to be another one, but doesn't happen. CJ and ZQK close into the last 2 kills, and the Foundation are now going to push up on a 6.
A little damage dealt there by Enigma6 at least, but yeah, here come the guns yet again, put in play for the CT side. We'll see if they're going to keep doing what they've been doing, which is basically just trading rounds back and forth. Neither team really willing to surrender control. And we've got Foundation, you know, working with umps and a couple of AKs. So the buy is actually slightly better for Enigma6. But it looks like those guns are going to be heading over towards the A side where the bomb is following up behind them. They've got, it looks like a flash ready. MCE's holding it. Up and over the wall it goes. ATC actually drops a smoke right where they'd be running. Now, I'm not sure if he was planning on hiding on that. At first, it looked like he was just going to hide in it. But now he's going to play on the other side of this one. That's a sketchy play. Got to be careful. Realizes it and decides to fall back. So what could have been an early fight just gets dissipated by the smokes. Now we click the clock down to about 1 minute and 15 seconds left with very limited damage being dealt.
Still plenty of time though for the Foundation to make an effort with that little, with that little actually being done by this point. ZQK finally going to come into action there as they pick up the first kill against Shinobi. A lot more to do, however, and a lot more members of Enigma6 still standing proud. A2Z, however, is now the only one remaining over on the A bomb site. But Wrath rotates in early, and they do split the remaining players up 2 for 2. It's kind of actually 2-1-1. As Whitmer's in a bit of a weird mid spot right now in between it to be able to rotate quickly. That's going to put a lot of pressure on Vice in a second if we do see the Foundation swing over into B. But right now they're very heavily split. D's kind of pushed himself out towards Broken Wall Plat, but he's alone in doing that. CJ does have a drop spot. However, he's going to come out and support D, so I'm still really confused as to what the actual game plan is. This is really weird if they end up splitting it just straight up 3-2. And the time as well. 20 seconds left. Still no sign of a surefire execution as the bomb is sitting outside of the mid connector, and now they're going to try to push. Man, this is really coming together at the very last second here, and it's not looking that great. I don't even know if ZQK can make it to the site in time. If he does, he's just barely going to get there. He's got a high tail, and he can't miss anything at all. And nope, he's not having enough time about this one. And even if he does, CT's already going to get there. They try to go for the kills, but Wrath just shuts them both down. Something went wrong there for the Foundation, and it's going to cost them this very important round.
You gotta wonder what happened there. It's just an absolute like lapse of communication. I mean, ZQK, I wasn't even looking at him, but I'm watching the radar. He didn't even look like he was moving. He was just sitting by mid doors. So
they might have lost him for a second there, then, and that would explain it. If they just had no calls.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. He just didn't appear to be moving. The bomb was sitting back by the door, but really no one made a move. And then the split play just made it even more bizarre. So I don't know what happened there. But speaking of bizarre, here's Caboose again, just clearing out drop room with an ump. He's already done this once or twice, and he's going to do it here again. This is what Enigma6 can't afford to allow, is Caboose just completely bulldozing the drop room with that UMP. He does pretty good damage on Device as well. Vice, though, is going to spin back around and make it a 180 onto D. Gets caught pulling out the Incendiary. So no dice for him. A2Z wants to come in the window. He's got ZQK right in front of him. Does he get there in time? Yes, he does. He's actually got one more lined up in front of him. That's CJ going down. And just like that, the round spins back on its head as it's MCE over towards the broken wall. Nade towards Pete's is actually right on the mark. And it drops Shinobi. So it's 6 HP versus 11. What a chaotic round. But it's Enigma6 who come out on top, and they take the lead back 7-6. Is Foundation actually going to save, or are we just going to see another split by here with a couple players on pistols? And yeah, that's what we're going to see. Yeah, of course it is. Why not?
So no surprises there at this point, as it just seems like both these teams are unbreakable. I mean, if you just open up the scoreboard, it's been very back and forth for this entire map so far. But Enigma6 once again has themselves a slight lead, but that doesn't really mean anything at all with how back and forth it has been. We could very easily just see the Foundation picking up this next round, and then we're right back into chaos with Enigma6 probably forcing into the next round. Shinobi gonna pick up that first kill, but the problem is he's so deep in mid-con, so that's a very easy kill for Caboose to trade back out. Just catches him by the back, eliminates him. No one paying attention to this long position, though, after A2Z finds that kill on CJ. So Caboose just caught running. He finds, I should say, another free kill, and just like that, it's a 4v2. Both the remaining members of the Foundation are just stuck at A long right now.
And again, that to me is like miscommunication, which is something we had highlighted coming into this game could be a potential problem. A2Z gets a kill on long. No one makes the call. Caboose just runs up mid. So A2Z gets a second kill on long. And that nade should be right on the money for D. Actually, somehow it misses him, bounces a little bit more to the left than I would have anticipated. But it's still a 4K for A2Z. Barely survives around with just 5 health. So, it was a back and forth affair. But it seems like Foundation have kind of started losing control of this one, and part of that is just due to the fact that they basically force bought the entire half. I don't think they've ever legit saved. Looking at all of the rounds they've played out, it's been Tech 9 armor, or a couple of umps and an AK, or one AK and all pistols. They just don't really seem to care about building up that cash flow.
Well, taking us into the 15th round of the half now, with both teams having gone to the bitter end. Well, I'll take a look at how things go into the last round. 1-2, now 1-3, now 1-4 trade in the favor of E6. CJ now left alone. He's going to make an attempt at this. Good dink. Brings Shinobi down pretty low, but the problem is he's got nothing else done besides that. So now he's stuck in drop. And in a moment, well, A2Z, he's actually going to buy. He's going to miss his chance there, but CJ, thankfully for A2Z, re-peeks right into that one. And we do end up with E6 leading the way at the end of the half. 9-6 scoreline overall.
I mean, the rounds that we really saw going the Foundation's way were when Caboose was able to just destroy the drop room with that ump. He did like two or three rounds in that first half where he was able to kill both the player window and the player E-box with just an ump. He just really worked that gun beautifully in that area. That's that whole CQC thing. The ump there's so many places you can put in an ump or even like a mag 7 in play on this map just because of the close quarters, but obviously the ump gives you a little bit of extra range compared to the shotgun. So he opened up rounds, multiple rounds with just an ump, and that's why he's actually sitting towards the top right now for Foundation with 15 and 14 compared to A2Z, who's actually having a really great game, 19 and 8. He was single-handedly holding down long A quite well at times. We'll see if that's going to continue on here in the second half, as it looks like it's going to be a B play right now from Enigma6, a pretty heavy stack in that area for Foundation.
Yeah, I mean, overall, we saw in that first half, it was A2Z bailing them out of quite a few tough situations. And well, speaking of tough situations, A2Z's having a bit of trouble getting this first kill against D. Brought him down to 45 HP. He took no bullets from D himself. Oh, no. So he uses like an entire clip and a half as well against his opponent. But at the moment, ZQK moving in there, he gets a nice double kill and gets the assist onto a third. At the end of all this chaos, it's left down to a 1v2. Whitmer tries to clutch it, but Whitmer has no armor, no additional utility, just has the bomb. But if he headed towards A, he's going to find himself a relatively low D, who got very lucky in actually being able to kill A2Z. Whitmer himself still holding out behind the wall, waiting for time to tick down a little bit, but in he goes. There's the headshot on D. And now, instead of proceeding directly to the site, he was smart about this one. He waited to see if MCE was going to immediately rotate. If he had waited a few more seconds, he might have caught him in this circumstance too. But instead, now ends up on the site, and this will turn into a relatively normal 1v1 situation for MCE.
The issue, though, is that Whitmer doesn't know if he's coming from B or if he's coming from mid. So he actually plants in a harder spot to cover. So, MCE making some noise coming in, and there it is. Whitmer with the clutch. That's a big 3K, too. So, big work from Whitmer. Not surprised that the pistol round became that. Now a pause comes in. Do we know if this is tactical or technical?
This might be tactical here, considering what kind of a situation the Foundation are going to be in, though.
Yeah, I would kind of agree with you there.
It's still a weird time to do a tactical pause, but it at least makes sense considering now, like, okay, we may they may have to do some sort of a weird force strat here or something like that. So we'll wait to see in a second. But we're working with a bit of a lower tech environment, so we don't know for sure if this is tac or tech.
I mean, you're looking at this round if you're Foundation, and you're like, okay, so we lost pistol. If we lose the anti-force and the anti-eco, that puts us at 12-6. We're down, double our rounds. So, you're down 12-6, and it's a inherently T-sided map, or at least a map that gets argued as T-sided, even if you said it was the most T-sided map in the rotation. But they're not actually talking about anything. It is just a tech. Looks like ZQK is timed out yet again.
Good night, sweet prince. So it'll take him a moment to get back into the server. He was already back in once, though, so I imagine they can do it for a second time. And as soon as he does reconnect, we will continue the match. Foundation are going to find themselves in a pretty rough spot, though, after losing that one. Unless they can somehow eco-upset again this second round. That is going to put them... Enigma6, this is going to put them at a potential 12-6 scoreline.
As CJ's already bought an ump. So, I mean, it kind of tells you what's going to happen here. They're going to buy a lot, whatever they can get. So I wouldn't be surprised if D also buys an ump. And I don't know how much cash ZQK had. But MCE and Caboose will probably just pistol armor. So this is actually not going to be terrible. Considering, Enigma6 is thinking they've got pistol armor coming their way. But it's going to be some SMGs and it's ump-on-ump battles. Even a MAC-10 in play. However, because CJ and D have to go with body armor instead of head armor, they're still a bit softer, a little bit squishier.
Yeah, so once again, just waiting for that reconnect to roll in. And then we're good to start up the match once again. With Enigma6 still controlling the situation here. It is looking good for them if they can follow through to push forward. And as yet another reminder, folks, with E6 winning this one, they are not guaranteed a slot in the Pro League as of yet. And the Foundation is also not, guaranteed a spot in Premier as of yet. They are just going to head down to the lower bracket, the Foundation this is, if they lose this map. Where they will have to face off against the loser from our other game, so they will end up going up against Ghost Gaming for survival. And if they lose that one, then they'll be completely out of the running. For Enigma6, they will push forward if they win this one, take on Rush tomorrow, and then the winner of that best of 3 will claim one of the 2 slots for Season 6 of Pro League. At least I believe that's how it's going to work.
Well, it looks like we're unpaused and we're ready to go, so... Here's where the buy settles down. CJ actually ends up being the only one to buy an ump. They feel a little bit more comfortable with the pistols in play. So, it will be SMG and pistols versus SMGs and AK. And they've already lost one of the pistols. That's D going down very early on the round as A2Z picked up the kill over on long A. So, not really any action developing early that favors Foundation as they've already found themselves at a man disadvantage, which we've talked about throughout this series, that seems to be a concurrent or a recurring theme between both matches tonight, this one and the previous match. ZQK is going to fall to Rat's UMP. Vice is still holding in drop room, so he's got at least a good idea as to what's coming on from the backside, but he falls to MCE, struggles to get that last shot down as he dinked him initially to 6 health, or gooshed him with that MAC-10, but MCE was able to recover and survives, albeit barely. He's going to toss that one over to Caboose so they can try and do a little bit more damage, being as he's sitting on a full boat and he's got head armor to boot.
I believe, however, that now we are just going to see these guys posting up outside to save, not necessarily going for the full-on retake. CJ doing a similar thing outside, but the big old rock on top of the T-ramp leading downstairs into the mid-connector. ATZ already kind of looking out for that sort of a situation there as he creeps back into the mid-con itself. But everyone else will safely fall out of the site. We'll definitely not see a defuse coming in anytime sooner for the Foundation, let alone a retake. And E6 are going to push forward, giving themselves an 11th round. Foundation survives with quite a bit, though, and that's actually going to be good for them heading into this third round. Can still attempt, at the very least, to do some decent damage to Enigma6 and prevent them from getting, like a great economy build-up right from the start. Forcing, any rebuys going into the first gun round is going to be great for them, as it does make it easier to break their opponents and overall try to keep that scoreline a little bit closer.
So again, CJ got that ump. Caboose rocking the MAC-10. We'll see what they decide to do with it here. CJ dives through the smoke onto the broken wall initially, but spams a bit and then just falls right on off. Vice, who is further back, did get hit with the flashbang, but neither player really connects with one another. Over by mid, we've got D playing very, very close to the door, hoping that they're just going to wander right into his crosshair with the bomb, and that's probably going to be the case. Vice dies all alone on the B site, and that is a bit of a tell here. They start hearing the footsteps in mid in conjunction with the fact that there was only one player B. They realize quickly that this is going to be an A play, and they just try to blow their way into the back of the site. However, Caboose manages to pick up one before he does meet his demise. So it's going to be a 3 versus 3 post-plant. There's no kit here for the CTs, which is going to be the biggest problem when it comes to a retake. They're going to have to make this one happen fast. Whitmer gets a kill, as does A2Z, and now it's up to MCE, who's pulled off his fair share of clutches in the past, but it's not going to happen today. 12-6, despite all their efforts, the Foundation not able to stop the double, or the double up of their rounds, as Enigma6 grab their way up to a 12-6 scoreline.
Yeah, and that's the perfect setup for them. So now all they need to do is follow through with the appropriate gun rounds, and they'll have themselves the map and, more importantly, the set here to stay in the upper bracket and push themselves through. We'll take a look now at the opening gun round for the Foundation, which, I mean, even that's going to be a little bit limited. ZQK going with the shotgun over a drop. Obviously, you expect that there, but it's more so to give them a little bit of extra utility. The rest of the team buying into it, but CJ having to go for a glass cannon op purchase. Caboose still down on an ump, so there's definitely some limitations, even though it is the first gun round here. And we would have expected them to save up for it, but it's looking a little bit light on quite a few of these CTs right now. E6 just plopping everyone on a platform with that smoke. They get pretty much everyone up to the front of the line for free here. They are going to note Wrath in the corner, but Whitmer hits that first entry regardless. CJ with the glass cannon finds himself his first strike, missing the second one. Now he's stuck in the corner. Aim punch is going to prevent him from getting anything else going there. Shinobi finding that kill, and that is pretty much full site control. Caboose trying to get something done with the UMP, and I believe they may boost up on top of Pizza. No, they're both just sticking behind the box. So trying to wait this out until the smokes start to fade away, but with E6 having this control, Foundation is going to find themselves having a hard time really getting back into the site. D finds an opener, though. Eliminates Shinobi, and we are indeed finally going to see that boost from Caboose himself. Brings Whitmer down very low. He misses the shot. A2Z coming back into the fold, but they're not paying attention to all this sidewalk pressure. They finally notice it, and now they will be able to eliminate the last 3 players there pretty cleanly, with E6 taking a very important gun round to secure their lead at the beginning of this half and possibly secure the map now as a follow-up. The Foundation, they're going to be around 3K, so most you're going to see from them is a half buy this time.
That was actually really great work from Vice, too. So Vice, he got dinked to the player who was on the right side of the broken wall when he was trying to get out of boxes. He actually saw CJ in the cubby at the bottom of the stairs for like a moment, but he couldn't do anything about it. He was down to like 10 HP, and he just got across the site and got towards Chicken Coop and played the bomb perfectly. Peeks out as D was trying to advance to the statue. That's a big kill as it isolates the 2 remaining players on sidewalk. And then he even gets the kill on the last guy as he tried to jump up onto the broken wall. Here the nade comes in deep, but it really doesn't do much damage. It thought it would have done more, but it goes a little bit behind them. It is just pistols in play here, and they're dropping like flies left, right, and center. D and CJ just trying to do some damage here, and now just D, as CJ does at least get 1 kill on the round with his CC75, but he's not even going to be able to go in and grab that gun with ease. He's trying to creep up on top of it, and A2Z actually puts a bullet right into the top of his head. He crowns him there through the edge of the wall, so he survives a little while longer. It's the 14th round for Enigma6. They're now 8 up over their opponent. And like we had said, after the first map, we really didn't anticipate great things for Foundation here, and Enigma6 has proven to be successful time and time again.
Well, so now this takes us on to our well, it's the ultimatum gun round in a lot of ways here for the Foundation. Dropping this one, again, they're not really going to end up with a whole lot of cash. They are at max losing bonus, but even with that, everyone except for Caboose pretty much fully bought out here. So they're not going to have a whole lot left over, and that's going to leave them with, you know, full up buy or a lapsed M4 by Caboose. Gets himself into this aggressive position, but he's spotted out by Shinobi. Able to just spot his outline through the edge of the smoke, I do believe. Nade goes in, does some decent damage to Wrath, both him and Shinobi, right around 40 HP now. And MCE making a move forward, too, to do some great damage to Vice. With the smoke starting to fade away, no longer allowing Enigma6 to have that free coverage in terms of what's going on the backside of this platform push. Gives MC a little bit more room to maneuver there. And he has even CJ in the spot over on the steps to back him up now.
So again, the Foundation is at a man disadvantage as the clock ticks down further and further. Down to about 55 seconds left here as Wrath is still sort of hanging around on this B site. He did do some damage to MCE, who's at 20. He's going to chuck a molly deep into the cubby. He's just expending all of his utility at this point to try and get out of this position and move up to a better spot. But he's the decoy right now. He's doing a pretty good job of being a decoy. He's kept 3 players on this site, but the bomb is now moving its way forward towards the A site. D did manage to get 1 kill over here with this AWP, and now he falls into the back. Nice shot as he drops off the barrels, but he's got to worry about Whitmer, who's holding an angle. Another nice shot from D. And now it's just Whitmer who squeezes a bullet over the top. But good luck. 1 versus 3, 15 seconds left. It's a round for the CT side, and Whitmer realizes it. He just wants to hold his op for a little while longer. But it's going to be MCE who's waiting for him on the other end.
Yeah, Whitmer's going to end up falling back. And, oh, surprised by MCE as he just goes peekaboo on the steps. Eliminates Whitmer, allows for 0 saves. I think he dies before timer, though, so he does manage to get losing bonus. Well, what little losing bonus I do get, but still gets the money, which is the important factor out of that one. But he had like 13k, so rebuying's not going to be too big of a problem for him regardless. They will go back in, and now we'll see if they can win it out again, as they've got at least one more chance, including this one, and possibly another one afterwards as well, depending on how they want to play this, economically speaking.
So over they go towards this B bomb site yet again here. Just looking to get this one over with if possible. Vice gets the opener onto Caboose, and now they storm out of the wall. A flash in as Shinobi actually goes up and over top of his opponent. He jumped up on his head. D, though, is left alone. He's got the op. He did some magic in the last round, but I love the play from Shinobi. He legitimately jumped on top of his opponent's head as he ducked through the smoke. He climbed over, hit him with the Goomba Stomp, and it's Enigma6 who grabbed the round. And now Foundation, they've got nothing left to work with. 1 M4 is basically all they've got.
Yeah, so let's take a look and see if the Foundation can hold it off. They need 8 rounds straight to take this to OT. Otherwise, it is going to end up being E6 taking it 2-0 to move on to face off against Rush tomorrow. Well, to start off the round itself, D is going to find himself in a bit of a rough spot to make any impact. He will attempt to make a play through the smoke. A2Z watching for that, though. And that is not the start that the Foundation wanted to find. MCE next up to bat here. He has been boosted up by ZQK inside of drop room, but Vice destroys him before he can follow through and actually get that kill. Vice himself will end up at about a third of his HP, but it's not mattering too much about that, especially with Wrath getting the 3rd kill now. It's just down to ZQK and Caboose to try and hold this, and ZQK finds himself out in the open, steals a kill off of Wrath, but he's also now down at 9 HP, with Caboose trying to lurk through the halls and line up a bit of a flank. But I believe Vice is watching out for that.
ZQK and Caboose, and now just ZQK. The Brazilian player is going to have to really do something here, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. That's going to be it. So a quick 2-0 here for Enigma6, all things considered. Foundation put up a minor fight on that first map, but it wasn't really until the game was already out of control. But here on their map selection, Enigma6 did exactly what they did in map 1, which was just controlled the pace completely. Early on, they had a chance. They were like trading back and forth, but great game from Enigma6.
Yeah, and overall, that is going to close out today's activities as Enigma6 do indeed take quick control of this second matchup. They'll be moving forward, and like I said, guys, This is a double elimination bracket tournament now to take control of the 2 slots in EPL. So the winner of the upper bracket and the lower bracket, respectively, will be pushing forward to claim those spots next season. We have our upper bracket final now set. That's going to be between Enigma6 and Rush, the 2 teams that won today's games. And we will have an elimination match, I believe, tomorrow as well. That is going to be between the losers of today's game. The winner of that will play off against the loser of the winners match tomorrow. And then after that, we'll have the lower bracket final to find our second and final team that will be joining Season 6 of the ESL Pro League. I think that does it for today, though. So besides that, Bach, anything else you wanna mention or shout out here before you probably go to bed after this one?
Yeah, don't cast after jet lag. It's a bad idea.
All right. Well, we do, of course, as well want to give a thanks to our producer/observer for this show. Prius stepped in and helped us out. So if you guys want to go ahead and follow him, that's over at Prius CSGO. And he's a good observer as always, so thanks very much for his help. And he'll be with us the next 2 days as well as we continue the coverage here. But that's going to do it for us today, guys. So thank you all very much for tuning in, and we'll see you tomorrow for more relegation.